Okay, let's get into it. If you've ever been to Amsterdam or even just dreamed of going, you've probably heard of the Albert Cuyp Market. It is this absolutely legendary, bustling street market right in the heart of the De Pijp neighborhood. And for more than a century, it's been the go-to spot for, well, for pretty much everything you can imagine. And, the reviews are just glowing. Travel guides, Instagram, they all paint this picture of a super vibrant, must-see spot. They sell it as the place where you can get a real taste of Amsterdam life, a place just buzzing with energy. But behind that perfect picture, there's a much more fascinating story going on. So first, let's talk about the main event, the reason almost everyone shows up in the first place, the food. Seriously, if you're walking down this street, your senses are just going to be firing on all cylinders. Oh, and you can smell the classics long before you see them. You've got that sweet smell of poffertjes, those amazing little fluffy pancakes getting buried in powdered sugar. You'll see stalls that are just overflowing with these beautiful, sweet strawberries. And you absolutely cannot miss the smell of crispy fries, about to get a huge dollop of that famous Dutch mayo. But of course, the real star of the show is often the stroopwafel, served warm and gooey, literally straight off the griddle. It's a foodie paradise for sure. It all seems pretty simple, right? It's a great market, it's got great food. But if you look just a little bit closer, a more complicated question starts to pop up. Who is all of this for? Is this incredible energy, this amazing food, is it for the tourists, or is it for the people who actually live there? And that question really gets us to the heart of the tension at the Albert Cuyp Market today. And honestly, it's a story we're seeing in cities all over the world. This tricky balancing act between being a beloved local spot and a world-famous tourist machine. And you really see this feeling bubble up online. I found this comment on Reddit that just nails it. There's this growing sense among some locals that the market they grew up with, well, it's changing. And maybe not for the better. So what does that actually look like on the ground? Well, for one, the hours are a huge problem. The market closes at 5 p.m. I mean, if you've got a normal 9-to-5 job, how are you ever supposed to do your grocery shopping there? Then there's what they're actually selling. Stalls that used to have household goods are now packed with souvenirs. And that, along with prices that seem aimed at tourists, just creates this feeling that the market has lost its soul, that it's no longer a place for regular people on a budget. Now, it's really easy to just slap the tourist trap label on it and call it a day. But that's not the whole story. Not even close. It turns out there's a hidden layer to the Albert Cuyp, a kind of secret design genius that makes it work so well, and it has absolutely nothing to do with stroopwafels. You see, what makes an open-air market like this truly successful goes way beyond what's for sale. It's about how the space itself makes you feel. And a huge part of that comes down to a scientific idea that designers and city planners are completely obsessed with. It's called a microclimate, and it's basically the mini-climate of a very specific, tiny spot. Just think about walking down a city street. One side is scorching hot in the sun, while the other side, in the shade, is cool and breezy. That difference, that's a microclimate, and it's shaped by everything from buildings to pavement to airflow. And this is exactly why microclimates are so critical in a dense city like Amsterdam. Urban areas create something called a heat island. All that concrete and asphalt, it just soaks up and traps heat, making the city center way hotter than the countryside. But a really well-designed public space, like a market, can actually help fight against that. So when you're designing a market, you basically have two choices. You can go with a cluster layout where stalls are all grouped together. That's great for encouraging people to wander and browse. Or you can choose a linear layout, long, straight, parallel rows. This design is all about efficiency and creating a really smooth flow of people. And this, right here, is the market's hidden genius. The Albert Cuyp is a perfect textbook example of that linear, parallel layout. And this was no accident. A long, straight street with parallel rows of stalls is one of the best possible ways to encourage natural airflow. The wind can just channel right through, which is amazing for getting rid of heat and keeping the whole place ventilated. So that nice, cool breeze you feel when you're walking through the crowd, yeah, that's not just a lucky day with the weather. That's intentional design. This simple, straight layout is actively making the market more comfortable. It makes it a cooler, more pleasant place to be, and that benefits everyone, tourist and local alike, whether they even realize it or not. Okay, so now that we're armed with this deeper understanding, of the local tourist tension and the secret design brilliance, how can you actually visit the market in a more thoughtful, authentic way?
Well, first off, try to go on a weekday morning. It's not just about avoiding the huge crowds, it's when you're much more likely to see the market serving its original local purpose. And make sure to explore beyond just the food stalls. There's still a ton of clothing, accessories, and all kinds of stuff. A few quick cultural tips. Haggling isn't really a thing here, so it's best to just pay the price you see. And while a lot of vendors take cards now, it's always a good idea to have some cash on you, just in case. If we zoom out a bit, the story of the Albert Cuyp isn't really unique. What's happening there represents a huge challenge that historic markets all around the globe are facing right now.
And this is the core dilemma. How do you protect the authentic, social soul of a place that serves its local community while also cashing in on the massive economic engine that is tourism? There are no easy answers, and honestly, cities everywhere are scrambling to figure it out. Which leaves us with this one big final question. Can a place like the Albert Cuyp successfully serve both masters? Can it be a living piece of the city's memory and culture, while also being a profitable business that serves a global audience? The future of our cities might just depend on finding that answer.